Good afternoon to all. Our first chapter is over and you have already written the first monthly exam. You all of them done it well. Now today we are pass on to the next chapter, metals and non-metals. Metals and non-metals. In our daily life, we came across a number of instruments, tools, utensils, vessels in our kitchen space. We think with which material they are made up of. Do you ever think it? If you not think of it, now today itself you think with which material these things are made up of. In our everyday life, we came across a large number of things, large number of tools, large number of instruments and utensils which are kept in our workhouse or in our surroundings for different uses. Different tools or instruments we use for which a particular property or the materials with which it are made up of. Some of them are made up of metals. For example, most of the utensils in our home are made up of a metal named iron. Its chemical name is ferrum. Then almost all the vessels in our kitchen, do you think are made up of? They are aluminium or copper. When do you think the filament of our electric bulb, which metal is used for making the filament of our electric bulb? Not LED bulb. Ordinary bulb is the filament is made up of a metal named tungsten. Similarly, you know the tri-cell, the cell is used in our torch, and back side of the torch is made of metal named zinc. Then you look your earrings or ornaments you wear with which materials are made up of? Either gold or silver. For now we learn something metals, some metals like iron, copper. What is the main use of copper? Electrical wires. Inside the electrical wire we can see copper wires. In earthing, you go to near your electric meter, they connection to earth connection. They are electric copper rods are used, which is golden color. What is the color of the earthen pipe? Golden copper. Which property is used? Electrical conductivity. So each metal we use have a special property. The utility of the metal depends upon its property. So now we came to familiar with which are now today itself you look your surroundings and name the tools or instruments and with which metals or material they are made up of. Then we can came to know that they are made up of certain elements like iron or copper or zinc or gold. What is the purpose for main use of gold? For making ornaments or silver. Then tungsten. Then what? Then so many metals we really came across or touch or use the instruments or which are made up of these metals. Then, even though we never mind it, today always, when you are using these instruments, you think these instruments are made up of, these tools or materials are made up of certain metals. Then one more here the main use is aluminium. Aluminium is also used, the main metal in our home for daily purpose. They are metals. Do you ever think how it is prepared? Almost all the metals are found in the nature its compound form, not pre-set. Certain metals like gold and silver are found in pre-nature. Other metals are found in the compound state in the earth. They are called minerals. Almost all the metals are found in the compounds. The compounds of the metals found in the earth are called minerals. From the minerals we produce metals. That mineral is called ore. Now we can study about some of the physical properties of the metals as well as non-metals. Which are non-metals? Do you can name any non-metals? Carbon, it is the main one of the common non-metal found in our surroundings. Carbon. So the coke or coal, it is one form of carbon. Coke and coal are the different forms of carbon. One of the main non-metal is carbon. Then can you say anything in your use everything? A wound is formed in your body, you use tincture iodine. Their iodine crystals are dissolved in alcohol, that is not tincture iodine. You feel pain while rubbing with iodine. Iodine is a non-metal. It's a blood colored solution. That is iodine crystals. Iodine crystals dissolved in alcohol. It is used for dressing wounds. So iodine is a non-metal. Carbon, then iodine, then can you say anything? Then we can't touch, we can feel some of the non-metals. Can you say oxygen? It is essential for life. While inhaling all the elements and present in air are absorbed in your lungs. When exhaling, all the substance, all the materials except oxygen are thrown out. While inhaling, all the components of air are absorbed. By exhaling, oxygen is absorbed in the blood and the other particles are thrown out. Therefore, oxygen is essential for our life. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling, all the particles are we enter the lungs. Exhaling, all the particles except oxygen. Oxygen is absorbed in the blood. Without oxygen, we can't live for a minute. So, oxygen, we can feel the presence of oxygen. Now we can touch it, we can feel oxygen. Can you say any other? When you drink public pipes, water from public pipes, you feel the smell of any element. Or while you are disinfecting your surroundings with a bleaching powder, can you smell did any time you feel the smell of any element? Yes, you feel the smell of an irritating smell, not good to your health. That is chlorine. Bleaching powder contains mainly chlorine. Bleaching powder contains mainly chlorine. Chlorine is absorbed in the slaked lime, that is bleaching powder. Where slaked lime is fully a stored place where chlorine is stored in it. When you throw into when you spread into your surroundings, chlorine kill it is used as a disinfectant. So we can feel the smell of chlorine. So these are, then the one more, you know what are the components of gunpowder? Carbon, sulfur and potassium. There is sulfur. You can see another sulfur. These are all non-metals. When you go to the laboratory, you look the walls of the lab, you can see a big chart hanging over the walls. In the wall hanging a big chart. In there written are so many English alphabets like H, O to O, N, A, P, A, U, etc. What does English alphabet shows? They are the symbols of elements. They are symbols of elements. At present, there are about 118 elements were found. Out of 118 elements, more than 80 elements were metals and more than 20 elements were non-metals and some other elements, which shows both the properties of metals and non-metals. They are known as metalloids. These are elements. These elements about on the chart, that is the chart is known as periodic table. Then the first time you go to when you are going to lab, you look at the heading of that chart is periodic table of elements. Our universe, sea, earth and sky all are made up of out of these 118 elements. These 118 elements are divided into metals, non-metals and metalloids. Now we can go to see what are the properties of metals. What are the properties of the metals? What are the properties of metal? You take one of the tools in your home and then you hit it with a hammer. No change. All metals are hard and tough. All metals are hard and these are metals. Properties, they are hard and tough. We can't normal, we hit it in the hammer, easily we can't change its shape. They are very hard. At the same time, this is chalk. We hit it with a hammer, it becomes powder. At this metal, it does not. And easily we can't change its shape. They are hard and tough. Then the other thing is they are lustrous. What's the lustrous? The properties when you take a metal and break it into pieces, on the broken side there is a shiny appearance. There is a shiny appearance on the broken end. That shiny appearance is called lustrous. Are they at the same time the wood or any other thing? Carbon, the non-metal, they have no shiny appearance. The aluminium vessels, aluminium plates, when we purchase in the shop, it has a shiny appearance. When we kept it or we use for some days or weeks, its shiny appearance disappears due to the chemical change on its surface. We can study it later. So the shiny appearance on the broken end of the the newly broken end is known as lustrous, shiny appearance on the surface of the shiny appearance on surface of the broken end is known as lustrous. We are saying that all the metals are hard and tough. Almost all the metals, but at the same time, there are few metals they are not hard. That must be except two metals that soft metals are sodium and potassium. Sodium and potassium. You must remember this name. The soft metal out of more than 86 metals are hard and tough. Out of these only two metals that are namely except two. That are sodium and potassium. Sodium symbol Na, potassium symbol. They are soft metals. We can cut it with a knife. We can cut the metal with a knife. They are soft metals. Then we can see that the metals are lustrous. What's the meaning of lustrous? The shiny appearance of the newly broken end of the broken end. They are lustrous. Then they are malleable. What's the meaning of the word malleable? You see, you look at in your home, the sheets which you used in your home, the sheets which are the metals. When we hit the high temperature, we hit the hammer, we can be shaped into thin sheets. That is malleable. Malleability. The main important property is malleability. So, in our homes, the roofs are made up of. We have seen that there were so many sheets. You can see the publicity in your different medias. Different sheets used for your roofs of your home, because this property is used. They can be shaped into thin sheets. This property, metals can be shaped into thin sheets. This property is known as malleable. Metals are malleable. Then metals are ductile. What's the meaning of ductiles? Metals, by melting, and it can be thrown into minute pieces. This property is known as ductiles. Ductility. Metals can be thrown into thin wires. Thin wires is known as ductility. At the same time, non-metals cannot be do it. But this property is known as ductility. Metals can be like in your home, like idiom. It may be molten, taken in a tank, and with high pressures, it is thrown into a small holes. We get thin wires of metal. This property is known as, it can be thrown into thin wires. At the same time, it can be shaped into thin plates. Thin plates is known as malleability. Thrown into thin wires is known as ductility. The other thing is, they have high melting and boiling points. They have high melting point and high. So they are used in our homes, in our kitchens, cooking purpose. They are not easily melted into liquid form. High melting point and high boiling point. They have high melting point and high boiling point. What is the meaning of the melting point? The temperature at which a solid changes into liquid state. That is the melting point. And there is high melting point and high boiling point. What is the meaning of the boiling point? The temperature at which the liquid changes into vapor form, gaseous state. That is known as boiling point. Melting point means solid state changes into liquid state. You all know that ice and solid state, it changes to water or liquid state 0 degree centigrade. So the melting point of ice is known as 0 degree Celsius. At the same time, liquid or the water boils at 100 degree centigrade and changes to water vapor. That is gaseous state. That is the boiling point. Similarly, all the elements, all the metals changes into, almost all the metals are in the solid state. Almost all the metals are the solid state. But only one metal is in the liquid state. Do you know which metal is in the liquid state? Mercury. Mercury is a metal which is found in the liquid state. Can you say where mercury is used? You see that when you go to hospital, your temperature is not done by an instrument, namely thermometer. Inside the thermometer, you can see a thin line of a white thin line. This thin line is mercury. Inside the thermometer, mercury is used. Mercury is at ordinary temperature, it is in the liquid state. A liquid metal is what? Mercury. So, there are high melting point and high boiling point. Or there are high density. What density means? When you place an iron nail or a copper nail or a copper spoon, whether it happens, whether it is floats over the water or not, it does not floats over the water. It immerses in the water. So it has high density. All the metals have high density except two. Can you say what are the metals? Which high density? Sodium and potassium. Sodium and potassium. They have low density. They float over the water. They are soft metals. They have low melting point and boiling point. They float over the metal. They can cut it with a knife. Then all the metals have high boiling point and boiling. The most important quality is sonorous. What is mean sonorous? Take a metal and hit it with a hammer. Take a metal piece. Or whenever you go to a road, near a shop, you can hear always you can hear a great sound, big sound from the workshops. Especially from the building workshop or an automobile workshop, you can hear different kinds of sounds. At the same time, whether it's a wood workshop, there is not much sound. What is the difference between? When the metals hit with the hammer, they produce a ringing sound. Do you hear it in the schools? There you can see a ringing sound. Can you say this ringing sound? This ringing sound is known as sonorosity. It is the special property of the metal. In your churches and temples, there is a special kind of metal is used. That is also not bell metal. That's not the element. It is not, if not bell metal, they also produce sounds. That is what is happening in the workshop, automobile workshop and our building workshop. We can hear a sound from morning to till night. When there is work, they are getting this property. This is special property for sonorous. So whenever you hear the bell from the sound of the school, you feel that it is the sonorosity of the metals. Metals while hit the other thing are at the same time. If we hit a hammer with a wood piece, no, it doesn't produce so much sound. Sonorous is the property of the metals. One more property is they conduct heat and electricity. They conduct heat and electricity. They conduct heat and electricity. So it is used in in making wires, and all the electrical instruments are made up of either copper or aluminium. They are the good conductors of heat and electricity. The cooking vessels are all made up of aluminium or copper metals. They are also good conductors of electricity. In olden days, we cooked food in earthen pots. In earthen pots, it's like 2 times for preparing food, because it is earthen pot is a bad conductor of heat. At the same time, the vessels made up of metals, aluminium, steel. Steel is not an element, it's an alloy. Steel are good conductors of heat, so it is used for making vessels and for cooking purpose, cooking pots, etc. These are the properties which we came across the metals, we came to see. There are some exceptions. Does this property? So we are in this chapter, in this the properties of metal, we have to learn 2 things. What are they? The general properties of the metals. First, you have to study the general properties of the metals. Second thing is certain metals which are exempt from these properties. You know the names of that metals, which shows the exception properties to this. For example, all the metals are in the solid state. All the metals are in the solid state. All the metals are solid state except one. The only one metal which is found in the liquid state is mercury, Hg. It is used in the thermometer, the liquid metal. Then the second thing is all the metals are hard and tough. But the soft metal is one sodium, second potassium. They are soft metals. They are soft metals. They have low density. They float of the water. Then one more thing. All the metals have high melting point and boiling point, except gallium. Gallium is a low melting point. So you must remember these 4 things. What are they? First, you have to remember the general properties of the metal. What are the general properties? They are the solid state. Metals are found in the solid state. They are hard and tough. They conduct heat and electricity. They are lustrous. Considerable lustrous. The shining appearance of the freshly broken end or cut end of the metals. Lustrous, shiny appearance. They are malleable. Their metals are changed into thin sheets. That property is known as malleability. Thin sheets. Ductility. Metals are thrown into thin wires. Thin wires. Thrown into thin wires. That is known as ductility. This quality is used for making ornaments in your ornaments articles in our home. Then there are high melting and boiling point. What metals have high melting point and boiling point? You must also know what's meaning high melting point, what's meaning of melting point and boiling point. They have high density. They are sonorous. You never forget sonorous. Sonorous means the ringing sound produced by the metal when it hit by a hammer. So you always hear the ringing sound from your schools, churches, temples, etc. That is That property is known as source. But at the same time, non-metals or any other substance do not produce the quality of this sound. So you must first you must remember the physical properties of the metal. Then second, the elements, the metals which are the exception to this. First, the liquid metal, mercury. Second, the soft metal, sodium and potassium. The metal which has low boiling point, low melting point, gallium. You can see these metals elements on your periodic chart or periodic table. You must the metals with low density. Sodium and potassium has two properties. They are soft and they have low density. Liquid metal and at the same time low melting point gallium. The symbol is Ga. Then we can go to the properties of the non-metals. What are the non-metals? You can make carbon. Carbon means in your home you take a piece of curry. It's one form of carbon. They take a piece of carbon, then heat it to the hammer. When you heat it to the hammer, it changes into powder. They are not hard. First, it form is three stages. All the non-metals are either in the solid or in liquid or in gaseous stage. The non-metals may be found in either in solid or in liquid or in gaseous state. They were found in these three stages. Either these three of the states. For example, you know that oxygen, chlorine are found in the oxygen, chlorine are found in the gaseous state, bromine in the liquid state, and iodine in the solid state. So, non-metals may be either in the form of solid, liquid, or gaseous form. They are not hard. They are brittle. What's a brittle? We can change it into a powder. Then they are bad conductors of heat and electricity. Bad conductor. They are bad conductors of heat and electricity. Except one, you know what is graphite? It is another form of carbon. Graphite is a good conductor of electricity. So, can you name a non-metal which conduct electricity? Graphite. Graphite is one of the form of carbon which conducts electricity. In the case of metals, here in the case of non-metals also, there may be some exceptions. You may study these. You may first study the properties of non-metals as well as the exceptions of non-metals which show special properties. They does not produce their lustrous, not lustrous. They are not malleable. They are not ductile. There is no producer, not source. They are not hard. Here also an exemption. All the non-metals are not hard, but the only one, diamond. Diamond is the hardest materials found in the universe. Do you know what's diamond? Vajra. ഇന്ന് കണ്ടുപിടിക്കപ്പെട്ടിട്ടുള്ള ഏറ്റവും ഹാർഡസ്റ്റ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള മെറ്റീരിയലാണ് ഡയമണ്ട്. So these two exceptions in the case of non-metals also you must study this. What are the two things? All the non-metals are soft, not hard. But the only one, diamond, it is the hardest material ever discovered. All the non-metals are bad conductors of heat and electricity except one. What is it? Graphite. Graphite is a good conductor of electricity. Good conductor of electricity. Then they are no lustrous. That means they are also no shiny appearance. But there is only there are also one exception. I already told you that iodine. The iodine is a non-metal which is found in the solid state. It has also a shiny appearance, slight shiny appearance. It also produces lustrous. They are not malleable. They cannot be changed into thin sheets. They can't be thrown into thin wires, not ductile, and they not produce or not sonorous. Or sonorosity is not the property of the non-metal. So you must read the passage and try and write the four things. What are the four things? In your surroundings, you must note down the metals used for daily purpose, the metals for the instruments and the metals with which it are made up of. Metals and their general properties. Then below it, what do you do? The some metals with special properties, exception to these properties are written on below it. Then the third thing is the elements you see or feel, the non-metals you see or feel in your surroundings. You write down the names of the non-metals, then the general properties of the non-metals. Then below it, what do you write? The exceptions of these properties you must also write. So you do today itself. Today, what are the things you should study? What are things you today study? The common metals found in your surroundings: iron, copper, zinc, gold, and silver, and aluminum. The common non-metals you have seen or feel in your surroundings is carbon, iodine, oxygen, chlorine, and sulfur. These are all these divisions of the physical properties. The next class we can see the chemical nature. The chemical nature, they are also entirely different. We can study why iron is called a metal or why carbon is called a non-metal. We can study in the next class. Today you have to do two assignments. The first thing you have to do is name any 6 metals then the second thing, general properties of the metals. Third thing, name the metals which are exception to the general properties. Fourth thing, name any 6 non-metals general properties of non-metals. The next question. Name the non-metals which are exception to the general properties. So today is you must read the test and write down the answers to these questions in your notebook. Today is the coming examination. You will ask questions from this section, so you must read these questions. First of all, you read the test book, then you look around near surroundings and kitchen and familiar with the metals, the property, the uses, which property metal is used for that purpose. You must learn touch with it and learn the property of the metal and learn it. Then you have it at last. You may write the answers, questions as well as answers to the notebook. Okay. Thank you. We can see the next class.